Hello, fellow planters. So I'm going to talk to you today about the profile, care, and propagation of the Croton plant. And it's basically known as Codedium variegatum. And what's nice is there are only 17 species in the genus. So it should be pretty simple to get all or most, if not all of them. Now, some of these originate from like southern India, and they like bright light to partial shade. They also, will range in size based on the species from 1 foot all the way up to like 20 feet in height. But they like well-drained soil. However, that information may not be accurate because this Croton has been in this pot since at least 2015, so about 6 years, and I've flooded the pot before and it is still happy and surviving, so I have not had root rot, and as you can see there is no drainage hole. So claiming that they like well-drained soil may not be very accurate, even though that's one of the things that people seem to write about when it comes to describing the care of the Croton plant. Now, they do like higher humidity, and typically a house will have around 50%, which is fine. They usually like between 40 to 80%, so you don't need to worry about like a tray of pebbles or a humidifier for them. They'll be okay. That you want to fertilize these during the growing season. So in the wintertime, since they're tropical, they're not going to really grow dormant, but they'll slow down their growth slightly, so you don't need to fertilize at that time. And there are so many varieties, and in my collection I have 3. These are the Petra Croton, and I recently bought these for $1 a piece on clearance from Lowe's. I'll probably combine them into one bigger pot, so I'll have just 3 stems coming up. And then over here you have the Gold Star variety, and as you can see, you have green with like yellow speckles. It almost looks like a map of the universe if you've seen like a map showing all the filaments of the galaxies, because they align in filaments and then deep intergalactic voids. So that's what the Gold Star Croton kind of resembles. If you do give it too much light or something, they may burn and start looking horrible. Now, I recently replanted this in a pot that had a drainage hole with a plug. I got this pot, it was cheap from Walmart. Don't buy those with a drainage hole and plug because they leak, and when I moved this up there was all this mold starting to form on the surface where I had it. And the reality is a pot without a drainage hole is just fine, unless you start watering too frequently. So as long as you don't do that, you'll be just fine with a pot without a drainage hole. And then here is basically the Mamie Croton, if I said it correctly. And when I moved this to my apartment and I put it near a window that's facing southeast, I received this leaf that grew really long and looks like a tongue. I've seen varieties in the store before that look redder than my example. I'm not sure what level of light you need to make them look red, or if it's a different cultivar of the Mamie Croton. But anyway, it's kind of interesting how it has a big long tongue. Now, other varieties of Croton include the Gold Dust Croton, the Andrew Croton, Red Ice Croton, Magnificent Croton, Oak Leaf Croton, the Zanzibar Croton, Mother and Daughter Croton, and the Eleanor Roosevelt. Now, the Gold Dust is, basically has deep speckles of yellow, just like how this one has deep speckles of yellow. And then the Andrew Croton is variegated with a creamy yellow variegation. It's not going to be any variegation like this Petra Croton. And then the Red Ice will start yellow and then turn red. So it's sounds like an interesting one for me to add to my collection if I ever find one. Now, propagation is typically with cuttings, so you'll cut off a stem and you can use rooting hormone into soil with a humidity dome, or you can water propagate. However, none of the Crotons I've had, and I've had these 2 for years, all of these Crotons came off the clearance section at Lowe's. And they basically, I've never had them produce branches or multiple stems, and I've had this for several years, this for a few years, and you can see how they stay small. They grow really slowly as far as I'm concerned. I don't know if any of you have had them grow really fast and flourish. I live in zone 7 and I plant them indoors. I don't know if growing them in the tropics will make them grow rapidly and branch off to where you can easily get cuttings to propagate. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and happy planting.